made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. Before we dive into this powerful episode, please remember to subscribe to our channel and give us a 5-star rating on iTunes and continue hustling. This episode is sponsored by Imaging Services, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Moguls, Chiropractic Rocks, Pure Chiro Notes, Titronics, doTERRA, Sherman College of Chiropractic, New Patients in a Box, the Influencer Authority Podcast Training, and Prime Spine Consulting. Let's hustle.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 336 of the Chiro Hustle podcast. I am your co-host, Luke Millette, and here's your host, Jim Chester.
So today we had the opportunity of interviewing Dr. Sarah Waller, and she is the doctor of the future. Listen to this episode. Stay tuned. Welcome back. This is another episode of the Chiro Hustle podcast, episode 336. And we have Doctor of Cause Sarah Waller coming in from Lincoln, UK. And my co-host Luke Millette coming in from Ann Arbor, Michigan. And I, your host, Jim Chester, coming in from Grand Junction, Colorado. And before we jump into this amazing episode of the Chiro Hustle podcast, I just want to let everybody know why we do what we do and set some ground rules for people to know what they can do if they need more information or why the existence of the show is. We do protect free speech in chiropractic. We protect the sacred trust. Like I always say, if you don't know what that means, go to DuckDuckGo. Don't do the Google thing anymore, and go over to DuckDuckGo and search Sacred Trust of Chiropractic. And we do support subluxation based chiropractic and innate intelligence. So if you guys don't know what that is, go over to DuckDuckGo. And we're moving away from Google. But with that being said, welcome to the show, Dr. Sarah.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, I know it's been a long time coming, and we just got a chat with you before this happened, and we were saying, tell me a little bit about yourself, and you did. So first year out of school, and guns blazing, pisiforms blazing, and graduated from McTimoney. But tell us the story. I know your husband, Dr. Tom Waller, is a chiropractor also, so you have a healing household. So jump right in and just tell us how you got into becoming a chiropractor.
Thank you. It certainly wasn't on my agenda when I was at school. I actually had no idea what I wanted to do when I finished school. I remember sat on the living room floor, I had an A to Z guide of careers, and the one that stood out at the time was physiotherapy. I ended up not doing it at all, so I didn't get the grades, and I somehow managed to fall into the police force. I was a police officer for a period of time. During that time, I still had no idea what chiropractic was, and I remember sat with a colleague one day, and I said I just wasn't very happy doing what I was doing. And I said at the time, again, I want to do physiotherapy, but I just didn't know how to get into it. And then I met Tom. So Tom is my husband, and he let me know that he was a chiropractor. After that, our first meet, I had no idea what chiropractic was. So I Googled search what chiropractic was, and it gave me the basics of the bones and the joints and everything that I know chiropractic is, but isn't really. Anyway, and the more I learned about it through Tom, and the more I went to conferences and learnt more about the body, my mindset changed, and I ended up moving into chiropractic. So I started studying, and here I am today. So it's been a bit of a journey, but one that I would not change at all.
And what are some ways that make you unique or different from other chiropractors? Or maybe since you're still relatively new, what are some ways that you want to be different? Or how would you like to stand out from your colleagues?
I think with my background from the police, I've kind of got a different understanding of people. It gives you a slightly different perspective to life that I wouldn't have had if I hadn't been in that sort of environment. So I think it gives me a level of empathy that not everyone may have, and an understanding that what people go through. I was unfortunate to come from quite a fortunate background where I didn't go through much trauma, or which is I'm very blessed to have. But a lot of people do go through a lot of struggles, and I think it gave me that that understanding. So I think I bring that into practice, and also, you know, whether someone's under chiropractic care or not, even the way I communicate with people, hopefully allow them to still get some health benefits without the physical adjustment. If that makes sense.
Well, I'm sure you do one heck of a doctor's report.
I try.
Let me just ask you real quick. The process of becoming a chiropractor and falling in love with this beautiful profession, through the guidance of Dr. Tom. Tell me about, when was your first adjustment? How old were you?
So I was 20, in my early 20s, and Tom gave me my first adjustment. I had no idea what was going on, but yeah, it was very different. And again, just taking my mind back to that moment really makes me think about how people feel when they have their first adjustment, because it's so different, but also so powerful. And until you actually get adjusted, it's hard to explain what it is. So yeah.
And what was your initial reaction to it?
I think I screamed and said, "What the heck? What the hell was that?" So he adjusted my neck. So yeah, it was very. It opened my eyes to something different, and it was a lot, I suppose, a bit more manual than I was expecting. But now you know what it is and what it does. It makes so much sense as to why you need to physically get some joints moving at times. So yeah.
So from that experience, what is it like for you now to be the one delivering that to people?
It's really cool. I was actually thinking the other day about, you know, when you're holding someone's head in your hands, and you've got their spine in your hands, it's such a privilege, and it's something that I don't take for granted. So yeah, every time I take care of someone, it really is quite an honor.
Yeah, that's cool. It's really it's interesting to hear one side of it, that you didn't get the chiropractic lifestyle until later on in life. You know, in life we go through seasons. You know, I don't know if you've ever heard this analogy, but you get the spring when you're born to like your 20s, and
Yeah.
then you get like the summer from 20s into like your 40s, and then you go to fall from 40s into like your 60s, and then you go to the winter season.
Yeah.
So you got your first adjustment in your 20s. So it sounds pretty relatively new, but I'm sure that's going to make a profound impact on the course of life going forward.
Yeah, for sure. And it's amazing how it's not just, it's a whole lifestyle and embodying what life is. It's totally changed my perspective on health and my body and appreciation for life. So yeah, it's more than just chiropractic. It's a whole life change.
And so far, with your experience, what are some of the best ways that you've found to get new patients in your door?
For me personally, and for our practice, it's really creating a community. So interacting with people and actually just going in with a level of service, rather than just trying to sell or give offers to get people in the doors. It's more, how can we give value, and how can we help people on the offset, but to the point where we're still educating that they actually want to come in afterwards. So yeah, it's a real community-based practice. We do that, you know, via social media, live videos, blogs, yeah, various different ways, but it's more reaching out to the community.
Do you do any like public talks or lunch and learns or like community events too?
Yeah, so we do monthly talks on various different topics. A lot of them have been online, so not in person, just because of COVID. So it's been a little bit different in how we do those. But yeah, monthly talks, going out to community events. Again, it's been a slightly different ball game over the last couple of years. We've had to try and transition slightly, but yeah, try and give value first, and then it builds trust. And whether people start chiropractic care or not, I think it can be a real benefit to them just hearing about what we do and how they can help themselves. So,
Well, I think it's very honest too, is when you get out to the community, that's where you make real connection with people. And whether it's on a call like this or whether it's in person, people get a chance to see you, and they get a chance to understand that the message is very passionate, and it's not about anything other than making people's lives better. And it's all information based at that point. I interviewed a guy named Tim O'Shea about 6 years ago, and Tim told me it's not the fact that we don't have access to information, it's the fact that we have access to too much information.
Yes.
So when you have the access to enough information like you do, now you can give that in a small segment to people to where they're not overwhelmed with what subluxation is so much, or what innate intelligence is so much, but what is the thing that you're talking to someone about, like healthy pregnancies, or healthy family, and how can we make the family unit healthier with certain aspects of the chiropractic lifestyle. So I don't think it's the idea that chiropractors are out there giving too much information to people. You have to be very specific on the avatar clients that you're talking to and how you address the information, and you have to really cater that to the people that are paying attention to the message.
It's so true. And I think also people are so confused about so many aspects of health. Especially here in the UK, you're bombarded with information, but often it's quite technical and it's not relatable or understandable. So, and health is made so complex, and it is so complex. But sometimes it just needs to be, like you said, delivered in a way that's understandable, and that makes sense, so that people actually know where to go and what to do to help themselves. So it's great.
So what are some things that you're doing for your own health and your family's health?
I'm a little bit obsessed when it comes to taking care of my health. So it's certainly been a journey. It's not something that I was always conscious of. So again, I think that's testament of chiropractic and understanding the real meaning of health. But some of the things I do on a daily basis is move my body. So try and intentionally move my body, whether it's just going for a walk or lifting weights or whatever it is. Every day I move, stay super hydrated, eat good food most of the time. I'm not an angel, but I do try and eat mostly fresh food. And I've also really started to do some meditation, which I found massively beneficial. Again, it's a work in progress and a journey, but I found that's been a huge benefit to my health, mentally, but also physically, with managing stress and just being more connected and grounded, I suppose the word is.
Yeah, it's back to the things that the chiropractic adjustment helps with: thoughts, traumas, and toxins. And if you're not feeding yourself terrible stuff, your body's able to get processed good energy. And hydration, those are some things that are just baseline health related topics. So most people run around dehydrated and they wonder why they don't have energy. Then they're feeding themselves a poor quality of food, and then they're not sleeping properly. So I think that if you think about those things and moving your body and staying strong, it just makes sense to people, but it's not always on the top of the 5 things that people are checking off for their priorities on the day. So it's cool to see that you're making some of those things a priority.
I do my best. And like hydration as a chiropractor as well, it's something that we see that people just don't do. And it's so key. When we talk about the spine and our bones are made up of about 20% water, and then the joints. And it's just, if people just stayed hydrated, it'd be very interesting to see how chronic disease would massively reduce, and pains and aches that people experience. So
you've made it to Chirohustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. This episode is sponsored by Imaging Services, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Moguls, Chiropractic Rocks, Pure Chiro Notes, Titronics, doTERRA, Sherman College of Chiropractic, New Patients in a Box, the Influencer Authority Podcast Training, and Prime Spine Consulting. Let's hustle. So what do you tell somebody if they tell you they don't like the taste of water?
That's a great question. I say, in a very nice, one of the options they could do is, if they don't like just pure water, how about just slicing a lemon or a lime and adding that into it to make it taste a bit different without adding processed juices. The other option, it depends who I'm speaking to, might be the case that, well, maybe you're consuming too many sugary drinks, which is why water tastes probably a bit bland. So potentially try and switch. But I try and say it tactfully, because I'm, the way I drink, I'm over here, and then if someone's over here, you need to kind of match in the middle. So first thing, add a bit of lemon or lime or an orange, slice of orange, and see how that helps.
And how have you seen integrating more fitness into your practice members' lifestyles? How have you seen that go?
As in, to their benefit, how's it helped them? Or
yeah.
I think that just basic. Even if it's just a 5-minute walk around the block, it's not only helps them physically, and it helps their adjustment. If they're getting the body moving, it really helps, as you mentioned, the 3 T's. But also mentally, like, it really helps people's mental health, just getting outside, if it is just a basic walk. And that's often the first thing that we mention to people, is just go outside for a 5 or 10-minute walk every day. Start small and then build up. So exercise plays a massive part in people's journeys, and we can cheerlead them on and try and guide them as much as we can, but it's really up to them to do it. But most people do, especially if you start small and then build up.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just 20 push-ups a day, and sometimes it's just a 30-minute walk, and sometimes it's just drinking a bit more water. And if people started just doing those things, and maybe they added 1 fruit and 1 vegetable to their day, now we're starting to see a cycle of life changing. And if they just included 1 adjustment a week, and now we're starting to build these little building blocks for a quality life. And most people are deficient, so it's really cool to see that you're practicing what you're telling people to do. And I think it's really it's powerful and important. Now we're going to turn the page back a little bit from 1 year, and then we're going to fast forward to 19 years in the future. So for the next 19 years, with what we're experiencing right now in the current world, where do you see chiropractic going, and how do you see chiropractic fitting into the future of the care of health system?
It's a really interesting question, and I would love to say that chiropractic will be thriving in 20 years' time and really helping healthcare and actually representing true health. There's part of me as well that's slightly concerned, especially, I don't know, here, I can only speak from here in the UK, but there's looking to be potentially mandates being brought in for healthcare professionals. It's not been mentioned about chiropractic yet, but there's potentially going to be a huge shift in healthcare and not just chiropractic. So whether we'll be able to practice under the name chiropractor or chiropractic is going to be interesting. But either way, whether we can use the title or not, there certainly will be chiropractors doing their thing, and I really think that we've got an opportunity to stand out and really make an impact in people's lives. So regardless of what political things happen, I think that we have got this is a great opportunity to serve and show people what true health is.
So do you think in 20 years we're going to still be talking about COVID, or do you think it's going to be something like the common cold?
I really hope not. I have no idea, but I'm hoping it's just a short-term phase, and that if mandates are brought in, it's not a long-term thing. But it's I'd like to say that chiropractic will be thriving in 20 years, and I really think that the world needs what we have to offer, because people are just getting sicker and sicker, and it's I think we're obliged to be there to help.
Well, we're really grateful that chiropractors are doing what they do, and they're standing for the sacred trust and protecting free speech and doing everything that chirohustle stands for, because without chiropractors, I feel like there's no one holding the line in the medical arena except for chiropractic, and everyone else has been bought and sold out. when it comes to people believing in anything, when it comes to taking care of people outside the pharmacological aspect of health. And we know that that's just, it's not working. If it was working, we wouldn't have this problem that we're having right now. And if it's just a lopsided effect, when all you do is tell people that you can only do this one thing to be healthy, and they're forgetting all these other principles of eat well, think well, move well, get adjusted. That's not even being discussed. And we know that that's a problem. When you stymie with one opposition to go one direction, there's no conversation about the other side of this conversation. People will eventually wonder, how is it only this way that we can stay viable and healthy? And the other side of it is chiropractors have been saying for the longest time that your nervous system's connected to your spine's connected to your organ system's connected to your immune system, the immune system's in your gut. So if the nerves are going to your gut, and that's where the nervous system is, then we have to keep that healthy. And the only way to keep the body healthy is to eat good quality, nutrient dense food, and to keep it hydrated and to keep it active. And the body is a self-regulating organism. There's nothing mechanistic about the body. It's all vitalistic. So if we want the vitalism to prevail long term, and we want that to be a narrative in 20 years, even 5 years down the road, we have to start teaching the chiropractic principles at a massively large scale. And we have to get the people that are making policies to understand that chiropractic is a lifestyle, and it's probably good for them and their family too. And if they were to jump in and start getting care, they might scream and hoot for their first adjustment, but after a while they would realize that it's a quality of life that they're looking for, that it's not a pill, a potion, or a lotion. It's not a cut it out, drug it out, burn it out perspective. It's keeping the body healthy as long as you can from cradle to grave.
I think that's what people will need even more in 20 years time. So I do think the profession will be thriving for sure, political aspects aside. And yeah, I totally agree with what you said. It's I just can't see healthcare any other way other than guiding people to more of a natural approach, and that is what people are actually crying out for now as well, more than ever, because people are starting to wake up and see that there are, something's not quite right and there must be another way. And I think we have got the opportunity, and like I said before, we're almost obliged to guide and lead the way when it comes to this.
So who have been some of the people that have influenced you or have inspired you to be who you are today? And they don't have to be specifically chiropractors, but just anyone in general.
I really admire Joe Dispenza's work, especially as a chiropractor himself, but just really talking about how the brain and body is connected and how our thoughts impact everything, and how we can actually take control of our minds. So that's someone that has actually influenced the way my thought process are, and also my journey currently through meditation and how that impacts my nervous system. So him for sure. A lady in the UK called Chrissy Wellington. She's a Iron woman, I should say, but she's massively influenced me and inspired me to do an Ironman myself. So from a health and fitness perspective, she really inspired me to push my comfort zone, and I suppose inspired me to achieve something I never thought I'd be able to. And again, it just shows the potential of the human body, that we can actually push it so far and still come out more resilient than we started. If that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. And you said Ironman or Iron?
Yes.
Wow, that's impressive. Will this be your first one?
I did it a couple of years ago, so I haven't done another one since. I've never say never, but it took quite some commitment and training. But yeah, she's certainly an inspiration for that. So,
what was the part of the Ironman process that was, I guess, the most fearful? What part of the run, the swim, or the bike?
The run after the swim and the bike. I enjoy running, but not long distance. So it was more of a painful shuffle. But yeah, the run was the most daunting part. But actually, when you break it down, it's I broke it down mentally into 3 stages. Once you've done the first stage, you're on to number 2. Once you've done the second stage, you're on to number 3, and then you're nearly at the home straight. So I tried to break it down into little sections. But yeah, it was a great experience and one to remember.
So going into it, were you stronger with the run, the swim, or the bike?
The bike, for sure. Yeah,
Okay.
bike, swim, then run. Yeah, I made it hard for myself, but hey, it was good fun.
Well, for the record, I'd been terrified of the swim, so it just seems that's just a lot of swimming.
It is, yeah. Well, that's something I grew up with doing, swimming. So, yeah, I suppose I was fortunate that I was okay with that. But yeah, it was a challenge for sure.
And see, I could lunk myself through the run and the bike. The whole swimming thing. I mean, I've been up to the top of the big mountains, but the whole swimming thing, I'm just I'm a little tepid on it.
I get that. Yeah, I can appreciate that.
So 1 year into practice, I'm sure you've seen some remarkable cases. Maybe share with us a miracle story or 2 that you've seen since you've been taking care of people.
Yeah, the subtle things for me is most people join us with some form of pain. So they come in with neck and back pain. There's a particular lady who's I still take care of and is lovely. And she reluctantly came into the practice because her husband was under care and saw great benefits. So he kind of dragged her into the practice and she didn't quite understand why she was there, other than she had neck pain, which was hoping to resolve. She's in her 80s, so she's in a later, stage of life. And after like 5 weeks, she just started saying how little things like her breathing had improved, and she was now bounding up the stairs rather than trying to drag herself up the stairs. So, and she couldn't. Every time she came in, she just couldn't explain how she felt better, but she just felt more energetic, more vital. And especially for a lady of her age, it's just amazing to see that it's not. There's no age limit with this. The body's still got the potential to heal and to function better. Another example, the other day, a lady mentioned, again, she's coming for lower back pain, and she just happened to mention that I just feel euphoric during the day. Like every day I just got a moment of euphoria and I can't explain why. And she mentioned, I've not felt that for years, and I'm enjoying being here again, which is it's just little subtle things like that just make me realize that we've got an opportunity to really help people beyond pain. And it just, I suppose, reignites my fire that just the body is just incredible, and it confirms that we are very fortunate to be able to help people and help their body function better. So yeah, there are a couple of shining lights in my life at the moment, those 2 ladies.
So we're just about at the end of our time together, but before we do, what are some websites or links or social media sites where people can find out more about you and what you're doing?
Oh, thank you. I've got a website, sarahwaller.com, so you can find me there, and I've got a podcast which I've recently started called Thrive with Sarah, so you're welcome to check that out as well. Yeah, thank you.
And was there anything that you wanted to talk about today that we just didn't ask you about?
No, I'm just grateful to be here. I'm really grateful for what you're doing for the profession, and really shining the light on chiropractic and the potential we have as human beings. So thank you. I really appreciate your time.
No, thank you for being our guest today, especially being so far away.
So far, but so close.
So far, but so close.
You.
I can't even imagine what time it is over there right now.
Not too late. It's not too late.
Oh, good. Well, I want to thank you for being our guest today, Dr. Sarah. I know this was a really fun episode, and I know Jim had fun too.
Yeah, it's really great to have both Tom and Sarah on the Chirohustle tapestry of chiropractic. And, we've had an honor to talk to so many people about one niche conversation, which is the vitalistic approach of chiropractic and how it can help people in all aspects of their life, physical, chemical, emotional. And I think right now the world at large is really under a lot of stress, from the physical, the chemical, and the emotional, and the chemicals being pushed onto people more than ever. And the physical, as you said, it doesn't matter what age someone's in, they can have the need for chiropractic in their life, even if someone's 80. And if they would have known about it from the time that they were little, I'm sure that they would have adopted the chiropractic lifestyle from the earlier, the better. And I think, just knowing that what you're just getting started. And I look forward to seeing where you develop as the practitioner, and see where your career goes over the next 20 years and beyond. And we'll look forward to having you on to another episode in the future. So thank you for being our guest today on the Chiro Hustle podcast. You are episode 336. And if you want to know more about Dr. Sarah, go to sarahwaller.com. And what was the name of the podcast again?
It's called Thrive with Sarah. It's you'll find it through my website. But yeah, it's check me out. It's good.
Cool.
Thank you.
Well, we want you to have a great night over there. Give Tom a big hug for us.
I will do.
And we're excited to have you on as one of our episodes, and have a great night. Thanks for listening to Chiro Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.